Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. This is Shaka from Shaka Gaming, and we've got another Event Essentials Unlock Guide for you guys here today. Today we're going to be looking at the Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker event, folks. There are a lot of different tiers to this event. There is a lot of information to this event, and while I unlocked this a long time ago, and I'm using a roster that's a little bit more advanced than what the minimum recs are, a lot of my roster is actually still where it was when I unlocked it, so it's going to be still very vital to you, whether you are a newer player looking at this, or whether you've got an overinflated roster, kind of like me to some degree with this too. You can still gain some good information for it. With that being said, guys, let's go ahead and switch over to the game screen and check out a little bit of what we're looking at here first. All right, so first and foremost, we do have a lot of tiers here, guys. We do have a total of 8 tiers. Some of these I will have the Rex at bare minimum. Some of them I'll have a little bit more advanced. For instance, Wampa at Relic or Tier 1, I have him at Relic 5. The Wreck is Relic 3. There's not a huge difference here. We'll get into that in more detail in a moment. Tier 2, CLS, my CLS is a Relic 5 over a Relic 3, so again, not a massive advantage. For Tier 3, we have slight advantages with 2PO and 3PO, although 3PO is not actually in the event, so you don't need to worry about it. Ships, again, not a huge issue with this. We do have Relic levels, obviously, on these characters, whereas you may not have super high Relic levels on some of these ships. But again, it doesn't make a massive difference. Same idea here. Tier 5 for Hoda really makes no difference at all, to be honest with you guys. So again, you can kind of see we have a slight advantage in our roster, but it is not really that significant outside of Vader. Vader has a fairly large advantage there. But before we get into the details of each tier, we're going to go ahead and kind of look at my modding for each of these characters. I am not remodding for this event. It is based off of the mods that I currently have on the characters. For Wampa, we've got high health, high tenacity, offense if possible. That's kind of what you want to shoot for with this character. For Tier 2, again, CLS. For me, I have a large amount of offense, potency, tenacity. His speed is decent. I don't have him insanely fast, but for him, it's more about, in my opinion, especially in this event, guys, tenacity and potency. Those are your two most important stat checks here for this event. For Rolo, I have her, she's very slow. Very, very slow. She is modded for basically tenacity and offense. Han is modded for health with some potency, not crazy fast either. Chewie is modded for mostly for tenacity and offense, and then 3PO is modded primarily to be thick and relatively fast and relatively potent. Ships, like I said, there's not really any modding with that. Hoda is modded to be thick and fast. Lando is modded to do crit chance and crit damage. Again, not very fast. He does not have very good mods for me for this particular event. And then Vader is modded primarily for me for potency, offense, and crit damage / crit chance when possible. He's not a very fast character for me. Now, with that being said, we kind of went over all of our different mods and stuff. General overview of that, folks. Let's look at the tiers themselves individually. So it says, strategy tips prioritize tenacity for your Wampa to resist the enemy debuffs. This is very important. As I said, all of my modding is just what I keep on the characters in general. If you don't have any kind of tenacity on your Wampa at all, you will have problems with this tier. So you do want to make sure you've modded for tenacity. Again, health is also very good as well. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys, and see what we've got going here. We're going to start out with the Icebreaker here, guys. Get some protection up. The protection up is very, very important, and you can see we're resisting a lot of those debuffs, which is really good. Now, while Luke is going to gain some turn meter because of that, we're going to continue to counter him, so it's not the end of the world. Whenever we get a chance to do our Roar, Furious Foe, we're going to go ahead and do that as well. Got heal immunity, which is very important. Again, we're going to go ahead and do our Icebreaker again. You notice we have speed down and defense down. Luckily, so far, we have not gotten hit with that daze, though. The daze is the big thing that we want to avoid. Icebreaker also very important, guys, because you are able to cleanse the debuffs on you. So that's also a very important ability there. So right now we're looking okay. We're going to go ahead and Roar again. Again, he's not doing a crazy amount of damage. We're pretty much thick enough here to be okay. Keep that protection up. And we just got to kind of slowly work our way down over time here. Roar some more. And we're slowly stacking up those damage over times, which means our offense is high enough to eventually beat him. So again, pretty straightforward. You just need lots of health, lots of tenacity. As long as you've got that tenacity on him, guys, you should be okay. You should be Gucci. Again, just as an overview of what I have here, guys, I've got health mods, tenacity mods. His stats, real quick for you guys to look at. Again, he's not fast, 219, but my tenacity is very high, 139% tenacity, 80,000 health. So, relatively straightforward concept, guys. Just do not get dazed. Moving on to Tier 2. So, we are looking at CLS again. I do have a slight advantage here because I am Relic 5. The minimum requirement is Relic 3. My CLS, when I did this event, was Relic 5. If you've got the extra relics, guys, I do recommend taking him up to 5. It will make a big difference. Strategy tips for this one, it says prioritize potency for your CLS to inflict debuffs. That is very, very important. And it says, note, Commander Luke Skywalker will have the same name, have his name and appearance altered for this battle, but it is based off of your character, even though it's going to look a little bit different. So again, stats for this, guys, I'm at 292 for the speed. So again, not insanely fast, but a decent amount of speed. Health and protection never hurts to have some of that, of course. But you can see I've got a lot of tenacity. I do not have a ton of potency. So this is the one thing. It does recommend that you have potency on your Luke. I do not have a lot of potency on him here. And that's something that probably would be nice to have. But the advantage is because of his kit, if they resist any of your debuffs, you're gaining a lot of turn meter. So while we may not land these debuffs as much as we might like to, we will gain a lot of turn meter. But you'll see here with Wampa in particular, guys, the debuffs are very important. We want to be able to daze him if possible and or stun him. It is very possible for us to lose this, by the way. Very, very possible. I am actually going to save my call to action. I'm not going to use that right away, because I want to be able to cleanse any debuffs that Wampa might put on me. So I'm going to go ahead and do our first special, use the Force first. I want to try to remove his turn meter if possible, so that we can get some turns to go here. So we remove the turn meter, that's good. Now I'm going to go with the basic here. The basic is very important in this battle, guys. So one, you can get speed down, defense down. If they already have speed down, you remove 30% turn meter. If he already had defense down, here's the big one. Inflicts stun for 1 turn. Ideally, you want to be able to get him stun locked. So you can see we did resist the daze. That's helpful for us. We don't have any debuffs, so we're going to go ahead and do our basic again. We got defense down, speed down. He's going to counter us. I'm going to go ahead and just do basic again here. I don't have a ton of turn meter to remove, so I'm not going to bother with it. Same idea here. I'm just going to go ahead and do my basic. And you can see this is where not having the potency hurts a little bit. We're not able to land that stun. I'm going to go ahead and run our special here. We were not able to remove the turn meter, unfortunately. Now, we are getting to the point here, guys. So we've been able to resist a lot of the debuffs, but there's going to come a point where you may want to use your call to action just to heal up some more, guys. Just keep that in mind. Plus, we gain a lot of bonus things. Like we gain accuracy, crit chance, crit damage being the biggest thing that we gain from this. So, we're not going to use this just yet. I think we're still okay. I think we could still get away with not using it. When I hit the yellow, I probably will consider using it. I'm more interested in landing these debuffs and potentially getting a stun on him. I'm going to go ahead and remove his turn meter, which unfortunately he resisted. Okay, now we're in the yellow. I am going to call to action to heal up a little bit. And we got him. So again, I don't have a ton of potency. It does recommend that you have a lot of potency. I don't have a ton of it. But I have the tenacity. I'm able to resist a lot of the debuffs, including the daze. I almost think it's more important to resist the debuffs than it is to put the debuffs down. You can see that we just, with his kit and the way his kit is built, guys, you're going to gain a lot of potency inherently in his kit, so it's not as big of an issue if you don't have an insane amount of potency there. Basically, long story short there, the TLDR, guys, is the basic is your friend. All right, Tier 3. So Tier 1 and 2 are relatively easy. You can lose them. I have lost them before with the characters where they're at, even with a slight relic advantage. Tier 3 is where it gets a lot more difficult here. So, like I said, Han is at Relic 3, Leia is at Relic 3, my Chewie is at Relic 6. If there's anyone here that you're going to take up, guys, Chewie is the most important one to take up to higher relics. And then we obviously have 3PO as well. For this one, it says, strategy tips. Each time an enemy takes a turn, Vader gets closer to entering the battle. So basically, you want to really focus in and take out characters as fast as possible to keep them from taking turns. When I did this event originally on Unlock, guys, we narrowly beat this. This is not super easy. And you can see my mods are not great on my Rolo or my Han. We'll see that in a moment. She is very slow, 234. Not a lot of potency, not a ton of tenacity. She really is not anything special. She's kind of embarrassing, if I'm going to be honest with you. Nothing to look at, guys. Nothing exciting to look at there. All right, never mind. We got to go back. Han, same idea. He does not have anything super crazy good. But again, you'll see that we have him modded for some tenacity. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of potency on him with these mod sets. Got a good bit of health and protection. Again, just trying to make him as thick as possible. And then Chupio, we mentioned earlier, is modded primarily for tenacity. Or not Chupio, sorry. Chewie is primarily modded for tenacity and offense with some decent speed and crit damage. All right. Let's go ahead and get into the battle itself and talk a little bit about strategy here. Obviously, you want your Captain Han Solo to not die because he can revive and he can heal. So he's your priority here, guys, in terms of survivability. If you're going to make anybody on this team thick, he's the one to make thick. Now, we have two waves here. Wave 1 is not super duper difficult, but we do need to try to prioritize taking out individuals over taking out entire large groups at a time. So we are going to obviously do our best here. We're going to go just straight for Stormtrooper. I am going to call Han here, though, because I want some dazes if possible. And then also, you're going to notice the Confuse. Confuse is a very important stat here, because once they have that first level of Confuse, they cannot gain buffs, including Taunt. So we want to try to shut down the taunting ability of these Stormtroopers. I'm actually going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and remove the debuffs here because he's not anywhere close to taking his turn. We're going to hope that 3PO can outrun him. So let's remove those buffs. We're going to go ahead and see if we can't land a daze here. We got it. That's beautiful. Now, ideally we land some ability blocks here. I am going to focus on Stormtrooper Commander. Commander is probably your #1 priority, or the Snowtrooper Ops, in my opinion, followed by Snowtroopers, and then last but not least, Stormtroopers. So I am going to try to ability block him before he takes his turn. Let's see if we can land that. We did not, unfortunately, but 'tis not the end of the world. Let's see if we can get a daze on him. We should be able to do that. Beautiful. All right, now we do want to try to get Confused over here. That's good, so now he can't gain Taunt. Now that they both are unable to taunt, guys, we're going to really hard focus in on Commander first. Oh, that's Snowtrooper. That jerk. That jerk. Okay, so we're stuck here for now. There we go. Remove that. Beautiful. Let's go ahead and put one on you to make sure you don't taunt as well. Okay, come back over here. Again, try to get Commander out. Commander is their heal ability, guys. So now they can't heal as well. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to go for the Ops. That's the one I really wanted to go for next. But we are just stuck, unfortunately, outside of AoEs. He's ability blocked. He's got Confused and ability blocked. He's got the buff immunity up. So we're going to go ahead and stun this Stormtrooper to keep him from taking a turn. And I'm going to go ahead and come over here to the Snowtrooper. And I'm going to call Han. Beautiful. And let's go ahead and stays this Snowtrooper. I like it. I like it. Let's see if we can't finish you off. Got him. All right. Back over here to Confuse. Let's remove those buffs. Now we've got Snowtrooper Ops warmed up. Oh, are you kidding me? That's unfortunate, guys. We are going to... I'm going to go ahead and roll the AoE one more time here. And now I'm going to try to save my specials at this point, because I want them ready to roll for the next round if possible. Alright, I don't think we have our Rolo ready to go, but we should be okay. So again, the idea here, guys, is, especially with Wave 2, you do not want them taking turns, okay? The more turns they take, the closer Vader is to coming into the battle. And when he comes into the battle, he is going to wreck you. So you want to hard focus characters here, guys. You do not want to try to spread your attacks around. Go for one guy and try to get that guy out immediately. Now, again, Commander is going to give them heal ability. Stormtrooper, obviously, is the taunt. Veers can do AoEs and call assists and all that jazz. And Ops gives stealth and AoE damage as well. Because of the survivability factor, I am going to, again, try to target Commander here. and see if we can't get him. Right now, all we can do is daze, so there's not a huge issue. I'm just going to go ahead and try to daze him, which it did. Beautiful. We're going to go ahead and see if we can land some ability blocks. Only one. That is unfortunate. Now, I am going to come over here to Stormtrooper, though, because I don't want him to taunt. So we're going to go ahead and call Han here again. Good, we got the daze. By the way, guys, I am calling Han for the daze, FYI. If we already have a daze, I'd probably call Rollo to try to reduce her cooldowns. Getting her to reduce cooldowns is very important. All right, coming back over here. And he did not taunt, which is beautiful. And I'm going to actually hold our AoE right now, guys. We're going to go ahead and stun him now. Stun is good. Stay on him. Those AoEs are scary. Let's AoE right back. Good. All right, one down. Next one I'm going to go for, guys, is the Ops. Let's go ahead and do a daze here. And we don't need to do a cleanse yet, so I'm going to go ahead and try for a stun. Got it. Beautiful. And we're going to, again, stay on him as much as possible here. All right, now, Chewie, unfortunately, is in the yellow. I am going to do a heal here to try to bring him up. Plus, Han's not super in great shape either, so let's go ahead and do that. I am going to try to stun here. Let's see if we can land that. No, unfortunately not. All right, so back over here to the basic. Got him out. Beautiful. Woo, boy. Rollo close. Rollo close to going down. You'll notice we're really close here, guys. He's got 5 left. This is going to get down to the wire. I am going to call Rollo here to try to get the cooldowns to go faster. Good. We got Veers out. Let's go ahead and basic the Snowtrooper. We're okay. We're stuck behind the taunt, but that's why we've been saving Chewie's Pulverize. We can remove that. Come back over here. Give me that. Oh, come on, Chewie. I need those assists, baby. Give me the assist, Chewie. We're almost there, guys. This is going to be really close. Give me a stun. We did not get the stun, unfortunately. We are in trouble. So close, you guys. So close. But we did get it. That was very, very close. Like I said, with 2 of my characters only at Relic 3 and not modded well, you can see it's a little bit of a challenge for me. Like I said, if you're going to take anybody up, guys, Chewie's you want to take up because when he assists, he does some serious damage there. He's very important. So, very doable, though, guys, across the board. This is not the worst one, far and away, in our series on Jedi Knight Luke here. Moving on to Tier 4. Tier 4 is ships. This is sort of difficult, but not entirely. First of all, you really don't have a whole lot of options here, guys. The goal here is to have everybody survive as long as possible so that you can escape into hyperspace. This is very different than any other ship battle. So basically what that means is you don't want an overabundance of taunting or stealthing in this case. With Han's outmaneuver ability, you actually don't want to use the outmaneuver ability because if you do, they're going to hard target either Wedge or the Rebel Y-Wing, and then one of them might die, and then you lose. I did this a couple times where I did the outmaneuver just to kind of test it in theory. I was able to beat it using the outmaneuver, but man, was it close. So just be careful, guys. We want to avoid using that. We want everyone to kind of take equal damage, ideally. This is a lot of RNG dependency here. Again, we're not going to use the outmaneuver. I'm going to go ahead and do our AoE, though, because some damage penetration never hurt anybody. Alright, so none of that is crazy. We are forced to go here. Let's just hit him with what we got. We're going to go ahead and do that. Oh, we landed that. Usually I am not able to land the protection disruption, so that's a nice bonus. Very nice bonus. We are not going to do outmaneuver. Okay, we got him out. We're going to go ahead and focus on TIE Fighter next. So again, spreading that damage out. That's an unfortunate dodge. Again, a little bit of that RNG and ships, unfortunately, is a part of what happens in this game. Now, he's got... oh, why am I blanking on this? Retribution, thank you. He's got Retribution, so I'm actually going to avoid attacking him at the moment. We're going to go right over here to TIE Advanced instead. Basic again. We don't want to use that outmaneuver. And this... Okay, now, we've got our jump to hyperspace ready to go. let's look real quick at our turn order right now. So we want to make sure that we're all going to be able to escape. Right now, my my wedge is in the worst shape. So I absolutely do not have a problem with him escaping. If this was kind of flip-flopped right now, and this was, for instance, the Rebel Y-Wing turn and not wedge, I would consider waiting. But with the way this is set up right now, I think we're safe to have wedge escape. Nice. He's able to tank that last hit. And if you look at the turn order, guys, it's going to go Y-Wing and then Millennium Falcon. So we should be good to go here at this point. We're going to go ahead and escape. And then escape again. And we have it wrapped up with a win. So, pretty straightforward. It's just about survivability. Obviously, the more relics you have on your characters, guys, the easier that's going to be. My wedge is a relic 3. The Y-Wing is not a character-based ship, so that'll be the same for everybody. And my Millennium Falcon, we do have a relic 8 Han and a relic 6 Chewie, so they are pretty thick. My Millennium Falcon is pretty thick. But as you saw, guys, the Millennium Falcon really was not the one in danger at all there. It was pretty much just wedge that was the concern. But again, not too bad. Pretty straightforward. Even if you don't land that protection disruption on the TIE Bomber, guys, you can still beat that. I've done that before without landing that, and it's still the same concept. You basically just don't want to use your outmaneuver, and you're okay. All right, moving on to Tier 5. Tier 5, you've got CLS with Hoda this time, guys. This is a very, very easy one, in my opinion. You can see they don't even give you any actual strategy tips because it's a relatively straightforward event. We are, like I said, at Relic 5 for both of these characters. For Hermit Yoda, it's not going to matter at all. For CLS, we do have a slight advantage here. Again, same concept against Wampa. The more potency you have, probably the better. But tenacity is not bad either, necessarily. I am going to prioritize the Imperial Officer first. Then Snowtrooper, and last but not least, the Stormtrooper. So I'm going to go ahead and put our Master's Training on CLS, targeting our Imperial Officer. Now, I am going to come over here to Stormtrooper. I'm going to try to remove his turn meter, and I'm going to try to put the buff immunity on him. So now he cannot tank, which is exactly what I want. And now we are pretty much just at stun them and have fun, guys. We are going to go ahead and heal up since we lost protection there. Going to keep hard focusing Officer. He was not able to land taunt because of our buff immunity. We're going to come back over to Snowtrooper now. Go ahead and call Master's Training again, because why not? Land the stun. We're going to come back over here and see if we can't land that buff immunity again, which we did. Beautiful. Just to keep him at bay. Keep doing some basics here. If we get to a point where we feel like we need to heal, we can do call to action. But I think that we're pretty safe right now. Go ahead and do some more basics. Because you can see we're just running laps around these guys right now. And again, when CLS counters, he's going to stun the Stormtrooper as well. We're going to go ahead and do basic again. Even though I have expose, I'm pretty sure that's going to wear off before they're able to get an attack in. Yep. Let's go ahead and do a big heal up from Hoda. Let's go ahead and do call to action again here. All right, I am going to go ahead and land buff immunity again on him. Beautiful. Keep him under control. Do some more stunning. Finish him off. Now, at this point, basically, I just kind of want to heal up as much as possible, while still trying to save my specials if at all possible. So I'm going to do a basic here now. I am going to go ahead and do call to action to heal up some more. As much I can to go into this. Now, this phase is a little bit more, or this wave I should say, is a little bit more tricky. So you lose Hoda, guys. It's just you versus Vader. And so first thing I want to point out, you cannot reduce Vader's turn meter. So your first special here, guys, use the Force. Outside of removing buffs is pretty much pointless. You are not going to remove his turn meter, so don't even worry about trying to use it for that perspective. But you can still dispel buffs, so that's a little bonus. You can inflict buff immunity and tenacity down. So those things are still helpful, but again, you're not going to have any turn meter reductions from this ability. Same idea with your basic. You're not going to reduce turn meter. However, you can try to land, again, tenacity down, and other goodies. You will not be able to stun him here, guys, unfortunately. So speed down is your friend, guys. You want to land speed down as much as possible. I'm actually going to go ahead and use the force here to start with, guys, because I want to try to get tenacity down on him if I can. I unfortunately was not able to. That's unfortunate. We're going to go ahead and do our basic because we've got no choice. This is a rough start, not going to lie. You want to avoid the dots if at all possible, guys, because if you get dots on you, you are in trouble. We're going to go ahead and cleanse those. Basic, we got speed down. That is good. Going to go ahead and do basic again. We are ability blocked, so we've got no choice, but you can see we're doing okay. I'm going to hold this for now and continue doing our basic. Again, that speed down, super duper important. We were okay. We were able to make it out pretty well. Again, I am Relic 5, though, guys, not Relic 3, so that might be a little bit more challenging for you if you are Relic 3. But again, the concept is pretty straightforward. Speed down is your friend there. Call to action whenever you need to heal up if you're in trouble. Outside of that, it's pretty straightforward. All right, so tier 6, guys, are without a doubt, not even arguably, without a doubt, the most difficult tier in this event, guys, in the unlock here. You can see I do have an advantage in my relic levels again with Chewie, with Lando. They're only required at 3. I have them both at 5 and 6 respectively, and my Rolo is at level 3. Again, remember that my modding is not great, especially for my Lando and my Rolo. The modding is not very good on those two, and quite honestly, even if your modding is really good, it still could go bad for you. You've got to really have some really top tier mods to have this work really, really well. It all comes down to whether you land debuffs or not. One little thing I want to point out, you will not have Chewie and 3PO in the event. They give you Chewpio instead, but Chewpio's stats do scale based off of Chewie and his stats and his modding, so you do still want to have good modding on your Chewie, even though you're not technically actually using him. All right, let's get into the battle, shall we? All right, so the goal of Wave 1 here, guys, basically is to get through it as fast as possible with taking as little damage as possible. Blind is your friend. Ability blocks are obviously good. If you can time Chewpio's AoE to take out the officer, that is also very good as well. We're going to go ahead and run it here because he's got advantage just to try to get as much damage as we can here. AoE. They are really hammering hard on Chewpio, unfortunately. Man, they're hammering him hard. Blind. I'm actually going to not use the AoE here. I'm intentionally going to not use that, so that we can try to take out the officer with this.
We're certainly lucky that you are on.
Okay, good. Now, we're going to send it. Everything we got at this point. Send it as hard as we can, guys. And actually, I should be over here. Blind again, that's fine. Again, we need to survive as much as possible. Beautiful. Now, at this point, basic. If there are not multiple people on the board, do not use Lando's AoE, guys. Just switch to the basic. All right, so the bad news is that we don't have our AoE off of cooldown. The good news is there's a lot of turn meter and cooldown built into Rolo's kit. So even if you don't have this on cooldown, guys, it's not the end of the world just yet. I'm going to go ahead and focus on a Stormtrooper. Try to get that buff immunity up, which is great. You can see we gained a ton of turn meter, and we now have our cooldown. With that AoE, we're going to focus in on Boba. We want to land that ability block, guys. Which we did not, unfortunately. This is why potency on your Rolo is so important, guys. Good news is we can still land blind. We got blind, which is good. So we were able to dodge his AoE. The only problem is that he's going to now have his rocket next, and he is probably going to use that rocket. And the rocket is the problem. But, again, the good news is Rolo can turn meter train, and she can cool down like crazy. So there's still a chance here. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's a chance. We're going to AoE here. Maybe we take out the officers, since we have advantage. Not quite. It was worth a shot, though. Lando ate the rocket, which is very surprising. That does not happen. Let's go ahead and blind Lando with the AoE. We got some very favorable RNG there, guys. We have no choice. Okay, really no choice again. AoE it up. good. We got 2 of them out. Ideally, Chupio gets those kills, guys, but again, you want to take them out as fast as you can, no matter what. AoEs from Lando here. We're going to put blind up again. Actually, you know what? No. I'm going to AoE here, because we should be able to take out a Stormtrooper. Let's AoE it. Oh, baby. That's better than I could have hoped for. I did not expect it to be that strong. Now, the only problem right now... So, Rollo is probably not going to one-shot him. And he is in line to take the next turn. If one of his abilities, particularly his rocket, is off of cooldown, we are in trouble. Turn meter is good. Turn meter is good. Oh, we survived the AoE. Thank goodness. There is a chance. We should have a chance at this, guys. We got some nice RNG on this particular match. And we should have it here. Beautiful. You guys can see it's not easy. It really is a lot of RNG involved. Long story short, you want to blind them as much as possible, AoE them as much as possible, hopefully land those ability blocks. Again, the more potency you have on your Rollo, the better. That's probably the #1 thing I would say, guys. Mod her for that potency so you can land those ability blocks. Mine is not, as I said. I have very, very little potency on her, which makes this event very, very, very difficult for me, especially because she's still only Relic 3. But as you will see here shortly, guys, because I'm going to have a little fun compilation of all of my failures. Actually, Chupio was the one that died the most. Rollo was a tank somehow, guys. Run those failures, baby. Tier 7, guys. Tier 7. This is a little more straightforward than what we had before, but it can be challenging depending on what you do here. Strategy tips. Vader will use everything in his power to subdue Luke. Long story short here is, guys, you have to really time a lot of these attacks out to take Vader down without you dying. Again, mine is Relic 5, modded primarily for tenacity, offense, and then some speed. Wave 1 is relatively easy, guys. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to start by not doing our call to action. If you remember, our call to action when we don't have this up, we talked about this earlier in our event unlock, guys. He has 100% tenacity when he does not have call to action. So I actually don't want to use that until after Vader has used his AoE. So I'm going to go ahead and do our use the Force just to see if we can maybe land a tenacity down. It's probably not going to happen, but we'll try it anyway. Yep, we did not get it. That's okay. So you can see we were able to resist all of those dots, guys, because we do have high tenacity and we didn't use call to action. Now, my health and protection are fine. So again, I'm not going to use call to action right now. Go ahead and do basic. We landed speed down and defense down, which is great. We're going to just keep hammering away at that. Ability block, not the end of the world, because we'll shrug that off. We're going to go ahead and do a big hit here. Not a big deal. Basic again. Basic again. And you can kind of see the theme, guys. It's simple. Just keep doing your basics. Do not use call to action, and you'll get there. This is where it gets a little trickier, because you have to take out these side pieces before Vader throws them. So, generally speaking, what I do here is I pretty much will do basic, and then you get hit. And there's not a whole lot you can do. That first wave, you are going to get hit, unfortunately. I am going to do call to action now to heal up, because otherwise we just might die. We're going to go ahead and do our basic now to try to get speed down, which we didn't, unfortunately. We're going to go ahead and try it again. We got it that time. And unfortunately, we do not have call to action ready to go again yet, so we are going to probably get hit with dots here, guys. If you are fast enough, ideally, you are able to get call to action off before Vader takes his next turn, but we are unfortunately are not going to have that happen. So we are going to get dots on us, unfortunately. Not a whole lot we can do. Cleanse that. And we're going to stay on the basic. Survived it, which is okay. And we're going to actually, again, save this for now. Only use it when we really, really need it. Let's try a big hit, see if we can do some damage here. All right, we do have to take these out as fast as possible. Unfortunately, we weren't fast enough because Vader threw them at us. Let's go ahead and cleanse now, / call to action and heal up a little bit. We're going to go ahead and do the big hit to see if we can get tenacity down, which we could not. Basic for speed down. Some more speed down, etc., etc. Ideally, yeah, let's get that off of us before he does an AoE again. Go ahead and do a big hit. Beautiful. So you can see we resisted those debuffs that time. Again, ideally, guys, your call to action is not up when he does his AoE. You will be in far, far better shape. Let's go ahead and do a big hit again. We are getting close here. Going to go ahead and do a basic. I'm actually going to go ahead and do call to action. Heal up a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and do a basic again. And he is going to hit us. Not the end of the world because we're in pretty good shape right now. Basic. Let's try to get the speed down. Come on. We are having bad luck with the speed down. There it is. All right. We're going to go ahead and remove that / heal up. And again, basically we want to stay in this form until either we win or until he does his dots. The key, guys, for this battle really is essentially do not be in call to action when he calls his AoE for the dots. The more dots you have on you, the faster you will die, you will lose. Obviously, you want to take out those side pieces as fast as possible as well. But again, it's relatively straightforward. All right, tier 8. Last but not least, guys, this is the big one. This one is where I have the biggest relic advantage, guys. I do have a relic 7 Vader for this. The relic level required is 3, but they do recommend a 5. And again, my mods are not amazing here, guys. They are some gold. They are some 6-dot mods, but I am modded for offense, potency, crit damage. I am not really modded to be fast. He's not an overly fast character. So, in this event, it's more about speed and damage than anything else. Because you basically want to just loop as many turns as possible. But even then, you'll see this is not overly difficult. All right. First and foremost, we're going to go ahead because I do have a lot of potency here, guys. Remember, he is not in call to action right now, okay? So, theoretically, he could resist this stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and do it because I do have really high potency here. And we landed some. Not a lot, but some. Now, I want to ability block him here. I'm not going to call my big hit. And I basically just want to keep him ability blocked as much as possible to try to keep him in this stance. If I keep him in this stance and I land those dots, he's going to be in trouble. He's going to be in big trouble. He did a basic again. Now, I actually don't want to ability block him here because I'm going to hope he calls to action again. So I'm going to hit him big. Beautiful. He did his call to action. That's what I wanted. And this is pretty much a win at this point, guys. Simple. Again, it's kind of the same concept. When he has call to action, that's when you want to do your dots. If you're facing Vader, you don't want to do call to action when he does his dots. Pretty straightforward in terms of the concept that you're trying to run here, guys. And that is it. That should get you the unlock and get you the win. Alright, guys, hopefully that helps you to get through this event. Like I said, I do have some advantages with my relic levels. Slight advantage maybe on some of my mods. Not many, though. For the most part, I am not modded for this event very well. Like I said, potency and speed are pretty much your two biggest friends in this event, guys. So if you are remodding, that's the way that you want to go for pretty much everything. Outside of that, it's really just understanding the kits and what to do in given certain circumstances. There we go. It was difficult to say. So, but hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Hopefully you gained something from it. If you did, guys, I would appreciate it if you liked today's video. If you want to continue catching more of our content that we've got here for Swugga, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications so you don't miss anything that we've got coming out further down the road. And last but not least, if you want to continue learning more about Swugga, continue that journey down that rabbit hole, so to speak, guys, make sure you check out the next video.